Cut out the jibber jabber. Don't be babbling like a fool. Say what you got to say. That's all. Then shut your dang pie hole.
Welcome back to the Prepared Mind channel. It is 0 dark 30. We blasted out of the bunker and have a rather somber well, frankly, frightening thing to discuss with you about SHTF and the current administration and the current world order. The current world order. While we've been very busy discussing Trump's trial. You know, a lot of people say, well, what's going on behind the scenes? What's really being done? You know, what do we have to worry about? What are they tricking us with? What are they doing? Well, I don't think they're really hiding anything. I think they're doing all they can. Well, I mean, they're doing some awful things. Let's talk about it. There are consequences for messing around. The United States has enjoyed, the government has enjoyed a benefit of being an incredibly powerful nation, militarily and monetarily and financially and economically, etc. Now, if you're a person who has worked very hard to put yourself in a position to benefit from your brains and your hard work, you respect that power and authority and use it because you know what it took to get there. Someone like a politician, they didn't build this country. Right? That's why we have a Congress that spends like drunk sailors because it's not theirs and they didn't earn it. So they're just going to do whatever the hell they want with it and treat it very shabbily. Right? And here we are. The people in charge, they have no idea what it takes to make a country. They just know that they can spend it and give it away. Now, let's continue, if we shall, with Biden. You think Biden has earned his way, or do you think he's just sat in a chair? Yeah, well, he's learned how to play the game, that's for sure. But this game has dire consequences, and we're going to talk about it. They've been playing games with the election. They wanted to replace Biden, and they can't. They just can't replace him. There's no one even remotely close. So I think that the consequences are baked in the cake now. Hasn't happened yet. It can be turned around, but I think they're preparing for a wider war in Europe, if not nuclear war. And I will cite this as evidence. The thought of giving Ukraine permission to fire missiles into Russia, right? So Ukraine is authorized now to use American missiles, or rather US government missiles, and fire them into Russia. And Putin warned several days ago, don't do it, right? You're asking for more trouble than you know. And another Russian bigwig has come out and said there will be fatal consequences if that is done, and that they need to be very mindful, right, and responsible with the decisions they're making. Well, it's too late. The decisions have been made. It is my belief that they are willing to go scorched earth and risk World War III and even nuclear war in order to keep Trump out of office and to fulfill their New World Order dreams. That's what I think. And it's not based on a harebrained scheme or some, shall we say, conspiracy theory. It's based on their actions. Where is the good sense in in sending missiles into a country like Russia. It has some very powerful weapons. They're not a nobody. They are a nuclear weapons superpower. They're a hypersonic weapons superpower. Fatal consequences, folks. That means people dying. Remember, there are Russian U-boats, or Russian submarines out in the Atlantic. And the United States Navy may or may not know where all of them are. And even if they know where all of them are, is there some kind of guarantee? No, there's no guarantees. No guarantees in love and war, folks. So what are these consequences? How about 1,000 people being killed in a missile strike? How about 100,000 people being killed in a tactical nuclear strike? Is Washington, the powers that be, the World Economic Forum, are they willing to do that? Are they willing to kill that many people? We haven't seen mass city destruction in Europe and North America in decades, and of course in America in a century plus. Are they willing to do that again? Ask yourself the question. Are they willing to kill that many people? And then look, if you will, at the COVID and the following vaccine. They were willing to lock the entire planet down over what they knew to be a weaponized bug, which turned out to be a dud. I can almost assure you that they were hoping for some dire consequences, at least before it started mutating back into its former cold self. Well, they had to take drastic steps to continue to harm people. And then they said, you know what? Let's just use the Jim Jones juice on them anyways. And they did. And how many millions have died from it? How many millions are, tens of millions are being affected negatively by it? How many of them know there's a problem? How many? How many know there's a problem? And they won't say anything, but there's a problem, folks. Millions and tens of millions, if not hundreds of millions of people. Now, in Japan, politicians are apologizing to the public. And they're admitting, at least the one was, and he was a very high-ranking administrative official in Japan's government, who lamented that millions of Japanese are dying because of it. He said dying in the process, right? Look out. Folks, if they're willing to do that to the entire planet, try forcing people, and they threatened and coerced and jailed and harassed and scared the shit out of everyone. What makes you think they won't enjoy and benefit in some sick, evil way if they launch serious weapons with Russia and these fatal consequences that Russia is warning about are manifested because of Biden's decision, because of the consequences? And I think they're intended. They're intended to scare and give him the excuse for whatever political purpose and motive is needed. Think about all the other wars that have been fought and how it just takes, right, that one evil bastard to set it off. And they don't care. They're good with it. They're willing to accept those losses as long as they retain their power and their wealth. And they don't care. there are going to be some awful consequences because of what Biden is doing. Are you prepared? Food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense. Red light time, folks. Semper Fi. God bless America.